start with Greg, and he says, Lee, is San Diego ever thought of bringing in an American League baseball team like the Rays or the Marlins?
No, because when they awarded the franchise in 1969, they awarded it to San Diego. Was it San Diego and Montreal? I think came in simultaneously, and they were National League teams. No, there's not going to be any change here at all. When they went through expansion, they put the Rays in the American League, the Marlins obviously in the National League.
Yeah, well, I just can't see any situation where San Diego could support two MLB teams. I mean, we just need to get the NFL back or the NBA or something. Okay, let's move on here. Let's go to Manuel. He goes, show me your lightning bolt, man. Everyone loves you, Lee.
We do it on Mondays and we do it on Thursdays. The lightning bolt through social media. So is that what you call this? What do you call this?
I don't know what the hell to call it. All I know is that the fans loved the days when you were the play-by-play for the Chargers.
Well, we did a great job.
Yeah.
It should have ended better, but I had nothing to do with the way it ended. It just kind of ended. Actually, somebody wrote me a note because, I happen to like Don Orsillo with the Padres. And he'd been a cornerstone of the Red Sox broadcast forever, and woke up one morning and they got rid of him. And they said, well, the Red Sox treated Donnie O like the Chargers treated Hacksaw. I said, I'd never thought of it that way. I said, yeah. And he landed on his feet, and so did I. I wound up going to Seattle, be the voice of the Seahawks for 3 years till the deal changed. But I was different. I stayed here. I stayed here for my family, and I was not going to drag my kids all over the country. So I had some opportunities other places, but I just decided to stay here. So I'm sorry, John, you're stuck with me. That's the way it is.
Well, it's interesting listening to Don Orsillo talk about how he came up through the minor league system, just like a player did. I mean, your career has been like that as well, right?
Yeah, and Don came up through minor league baseball. I started my career in minor league hockey, and I did minor league baseball. I never crossed paths with him. I was in the New York Penn League with the infamous Utica Blue Sox, which was a farm club of the Phillies for a long time, and then the Toronto Blue Jays, etc. The Utica Blue Sox had a great history back in the 40s and 50s. They were a top minor league team of the Phillies, and everybody that played in Utica in the late 1940s was part of the 1950s Phillies Whiz Kids team.
Oh, hey.
Yeah, Richie Ashburn and Willie Jones.
Dick Allen, is he part of that?
Stan Lapata. Yeah, there were a lot. I don't know if Robin Roberts was there, but there were a whole bunch of guys that played in, I think at that point it was the Eastern League, Utica Blue Sox, that all went to the Philadelphia Phillies, the 1950 Whiz Kids.
Right on. Yeah, like me, you've been everywhere.
Everybody comes from somewhere. Next question.
Okay, let's go here to Angel, and he says, it's going to feel weird not seeing Pac-12 football and basketball.
Oh, I think it's terrible. This conference has been in existence since 1915. I think it's awful. And even if 2 years from now, and Washington State, Oregon State have a 2-year window to put together a new conference. But whatever they put together, even if Cal and Stanford come back from the ACC, and that's an undercurrent rumor that's out there that this isn't going to work. This makes no sense at all. That if they come back, so Cal, Stanford, Oregon State, Washington State, that's 4. If you take 4 from the Mountain West, but it's not the Pac-12. It's more like Mountain West 2, if you will. So I don't know what kind of TV contract they generate, if those were the 8 teams that as part of a rebranded Pac-8. It just doesn't make sense to me. To me, it's a sad commentary. And I think it's going to be the weirdest feel in the world to think, well, gee, I'll turn the TV on at 9 a.m. and we'll watch USC play in the Big Ten against a rival. What?
At 9 a.m., yeah.
And it's going to be even weirder. I can't wait for the Cal-Wake Forest rivalry to start.
Oh, that's going to be fantastic. Well, even before the Pac-12 broke up, it still never had, going back to the 70s and all the USC football program was great, but the Pac-12 never was at the same level as the Big Ten or the SEC. So when we were here in California watching college football, we knew the big games were the back East games, and we had our own kind of local conference, but it was just never the same.
No, but USC and UCLA have been pretty good. And more recently, Oregon and Washington have been really good. So they've been 4 vibrant West Coast programs. Utah's done well since it came in, but Utah's not a Pac-12 standard bearer per se. And the odd good year that Stanford might have had, or Cal might have had, or Arizona State had for a short period of time. But those were the standard bearers. And what the Ducks became and what the Huskies became was really important because USC, UCLA kind of went through some dips along the way. But those are the four marquee names, and that's all gone. And Angel's correct. Saturdays are going to feel really weird out here in terms of your emotional attachment to what you're watching. I mean, somebody answered this question for me in the chat box. You're going to root for Southern Cal and UCLA to get killed when they go to the Big Ten? I know a lot of people are.
Not me. I want to see the West Coast teams beat the crap out of those Big Ten guys. I mean, I think it's going to be pretty exciting, but my expectations are reasonably ratcheted down.
Okay, we move on.
Okay, let's go here to CJS. He said, hey, let's not forget that the Kansas Speedway is on the Kansas side of the Kansas City or the Kansas-Missouri border, but is in Kansas City. So the Chiefs and Royals eventually may wind up near where the NASCAR track is. So he's saying that there's part of Missouri on the other side of the river, or that?
No, there's Kansas City, Kansas, which is right next to Kansas City, Missouri. The only thing that separates them is a sign that says you're leaving Missouri, entering the state of Kansas.
Okay. So, so it's in the Kansas City, Kansas part of it. And obviously that's a separate city. You know, I heard someone say that the original Kansas City was in Kansas and that they created the second Kansas City in Missouri much later. And it was only for the convenience of a lot of the westward bound homesteaders.
Okay. That's a piece of history I didn't know.
Yeah, I didn't know that either.
It changed my life.
Because I was always wondering why in the hell there are two Kansas Cities. I mean, in the very beginning, you know, I only knew of one Kansas City and it turned out to be in Missouri. And that even confused Trump.
Isn't there St. Louis, Missouri, and East St. Louis, Illinois, on the other side of the river? I think there is.
Yeah, there is. It's right on the other side of the arch.
Yeah.
Yeah. But is that the Mississippi River over there, isn't it? Yeah. Okay. Wow. We're learning our geography here.
Way to take this thing off track, John. Thank you. Next question.
Let's go to Chris Curry. He says, touchy subject warning, but the Porter and Bridges both being reinstated and paid in the NBA, perhaps Bauer should have strangled against consent. Amazingly blatant double standard.
Well, he's talking about the NBA players. Now, those guys both sat out a year. Kevin Porter, who just signed with the Clippers, Bridgers, who was in Charlotte and just got traded, both were arrested and banned from the NBA for one full season. Now they're back reinstated, and they're obviously playing for different teams. Bauer's situation boggles the mind when the world needs pitching, and he's down there. Last I checked, as of Monday, he was 10-0 with Mexico City. He's not made any statements, which kind of surprises me. And the national media has not done anything about in terms of going down there and interviewing him or covering that angle of the story. But how could a guy with his kind of track record, as crazy as he might be in the junk he did off the field, how he could not get a phone call from somebody? Because everybody I know in Major League Baseball needs pitching.
Well, and it's not just comparing the Major League Baseball with the NBA. I mean, we've had guys like Marcell Ozuna in Major League Baseball that he strangled his girlfriend or wife, didn't he? And he's still playing ball. And
he came back. He was disciplined too, but he came back.
Yeah. So why isn't Trevor? I mean, has Major League Baseball taken off the suspension? Like Bauer could come back if a team would sign him, right?
Yeah, because they reduced the suspension. He served the term when he pitched for Yokohama Bay Stars. He is eligible. He worked out for teams. He threw in exhibition games, and nobody's offered him a contract. Blackballed, blacklisted,
100%. Yeah, 100%. But the fans on social media, 9 out of 10 of them want Bauer back. And it doesn't matter if they're a Dodger fan, Angel fan, Padre fan, or just baseball fan in general, because they think he got screwed. He got gold dug. You know, this woman took advantage of him and tried to rip him off.
But he was also involved in some pretty sleazy stuff.
Well,
his choice off the field, I concur with you wholeheartedly. He served his sanctions. He lost a lot of money. He lost I want to say $31 million, which was part of the Dodger contract that was eradicated. So it's stunning. Here we are at the trade deadline, and everybody's trying to figure out which pitcher we can get. And he's in Mexico 10-0 yet to get a call. Next question.
Okay, let's go here to social media. We can get a couple of other folks involved. And yeah, let's talk Kings and Ducks. And this is from Squint. And he says, hey, the Kings should go back to the pre-Wayne purple and gold.
Hear, hear.
I do like bringing back the retro crown. And as for Anaheim, I think it's a good move playing up their Orange County roots. Artie and the Angels should do the same thing and drop the stupid name he came up with.
Well, I'll tell you what, I said this when we did the thing on the logos a couple weeks ago. I said, congrats to the Ducks coming up with the idea. This is Orange Country, AKA Orange County, AKA Anaheim Ducks wearing orange jerseys. I think that's a cool marketing thing. And as for the Kings, the heritage obviously is the Gretzky era and getting to the Stanley Cup finals and hosting the trophy, hoisting the trophy a couple different times. But I'll tell you, everybody that I know loves the purple and gold and the original crown crest, which was really, really cool.
Mhm.
I'm not a big silver and black fan. When I think silver and black, I think the bleeping Raiders. But that was the Gretzky era. So, the Kings went halfway back because they brought the old crown back as part of the rebuilt silver and black crest they're going to wear on the jerseys. But
Mhm.
what the Ducks did, this is Orange Country. That's a slap at Artie Moreno for, Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim.
Yeah.
That's stupid.
It is stupid, and it just shows that he has an identity crisis, and it's another reason not to like Artie Moreno. But yeah, orange, Ducks, love all that. That's perfect. It just makes me think of the band No Doubt. Where on the album cover she's holding up an orange, Gwen Stefani. But
What language are you talking about?
yeah, we're talking musically. But anyways, the Kings, I always like the color purple. We have purple here in our podcast studio. Purple is the color of royalty, and that is cool for the Kings, because if you look around most sports, there's a million blue and red teams, but very few purple.
Purple and gold. I mean, it was really, really cool. And it was a great era. Rogie Vachon, Marcel Dion, Dave Taylor,
Mhm.
Bernie Nichols. I mean, there are a lot of really good players. The Miracle on Manchester, the first time the Kings ever became something special in the NHL. So I'd love to see him reach back. This whole thing is about selling jerseys.
Mhm.
Last year the Ducks went back and actually brought back as their third jersey the turquoise and maroon colors from the original Ducks early years, which was neat. And suddenly the fans were showing up wearing that. Kings can do the same. The Kings can come back and have a third jersey, purple and gold,
Yeah.
with the original crown. And you only wear it on special occasions. Do it. If you play Christmas Day, you play New Year's Day, do it. They haven't done it yet, but maybe that's still out there. How about one more on social media before we close this out?
Okay, let's go to a Clippers comment. This is from Barstool Logic, talking about PG-13 leaving the Clippers. 60% of the salary for 50% of the games sounds pretty good. Hope they have a good medical staff over there in New York.
Well, he did play. I think he played 74 games last season. He played a lot of basketball. Now, of course, prior 2 years, he was as dinged up as Kawhi Leonard was. But it's tough. I don't know how they replace him. I mean, what they've added in the roster, that they don't combine together to bring the kind of firepower that PG-13 brings. So looks like they're going to have a bit of a down cycle season. And of course, the Lakers are paralyzed by their 15-man roster. And because of the cap, they can't trade very many future draft picks. They're just locked in with what they have, and what they have I don't think is even as good as what they had a year ago.
Well, the Clippers situation. Well, first of all, he went to Philly, not to New York. My bad. But Kawhi's hurt. Kawhi's career may be close to over.
It's in jeopardy.
PG-13 is gone. James Harden is a head case and getting old. Who else is left?
The center, Zubac.
Mm-hmm.
That's about it. A bunch of young guys. I do like Norman Powell. They've got some firepower kids off the bench, but they're not established NBA guys. And they didn't have a first-round pick this year either. I don't know where the next trade is going to come from. Had they gotten Klay Thompson, had they gotten Chris Paul, that would be a little bit different. Klay Thompson's in Dallas. Chris Paul is now going to be a starting guard on a very young San Antonio team, and that's a perfect fit, I think, there. So I don't see the Lakers being able to stand up to a 70-game schedule. I don't know how the Clippers are going to show up for 70 games because I don't think they got enough firepower.
And it's a shame because, they're building that new arena, and you'd love to have a really competitive team for that.
Cursed.
Oh, it's huge. It's definitely a curse.
Yeah, I mean, this is the second time that this happened. They put this very good team together, and they physically broke down. The last time they put it together with Chris Paul, Blake Griffin, it broke down too. And they just can't get out from the cloud of being the Clippers.
Yeah, I mean, it's the San Diego sports curse that has trickled up to LA. It traveled with Donald Sterling, and it's still stuck there with that team.
Okay, make me a promise. No more comments about music and geography. And we're talking sports here, bro.
It's all kind of related, it is.
Hey, listen, we hope you have enjoyed our Thursday podcast.